Welcome to a special edition of Slick Talk. We're talking greatest basketball movies of all time. I am your host, Jelani McCoy. I am joined today by my co-host, Ray Young, and a very special guest near and dear to the Slick platform and my heart, a good friend of mine, one half of Clips of Drew. Clips.
What's good, Slick Talk? Let's do this. I'm ready.
Yeah.
You can tell I'm ready.
We tapped into the right person. We've both been over at Cliff's house. He's obviously a basketball aficionado, and he is a movie aficionado. So we're in a safe place. Yeah, we're in a safe place here. We're gonna get straight to the chicken and bring to you the 2 round results from our best basketball movie of all time. Do y'all want me to bring to you the full field? Shall we go to the full field?
Yeah, let's do round one. Go through round one. Do the matchups, Jelani, and let people know.
I will start with 1 and 16. That's traditionally how the tournament starts, right? The 1 and 16. I got a bad experience from that shit. We took an L to Princeton when we was a high seed or maybe a 1 seed. So I'm gonna have to work through the PTSD with this. But let's go with the first round. Is the 1 seed White Men Can't Jump. You see it over the right clip shoulder over there.
Billy Ho right there.
Yes, versus the number 16 seed, Cornbread and Earl. Not too many people that voted on this, I'm too sure, is going to know about Cornbread and Earl.
I've only seen clips of it. I've never seen it. What is Cornbread and Earl?
The only movie on this whole list that I've never
seen. Y'all didn't tap in and see the Cornbread and Earl?
No, give us a rundown.
Cornbread and Earl is almost a Lynn Bias story, I believe. The Cornbread and Earl was a story about 2 gentlemen, or maybe that's not, I could be wrong. I don't even remember what Cornbread and Earl was, to be honest with you.
That's know what I mean? 16 seed.
To keep it a buck, I don't have my usual official cap of a Cornbread and Earl and me. It's mixing with Cooley High right now because that was around the same time. So I'm seeing Cooley High and Cornbread and Earl and me. I think the premise was the same. Somebody got killed when they shouldn't have at the time. Almost who's the kid out of Chicago?
Benny Simmons or Ben.
Yeah, that's it.
Benji Wilson. And that's why we have clips here, because he's an aficionado. We're all 7.
Simeon High School. Simeon.
Yeah, Simeon High School. We all got the Kevin Bacon thing going on. I know nothing's going to get past us, but you're right. I think the premise is the same, but since the group cannot agree on the vision of Cornbread and Earl and me, and we're talking about the number 1 seed here, White Men Can't Jump. I think, unless you guys can agree, I think we can agree with the voters. The voters have chosen White Men Can't Jump to move on past Cornbread Earl and me. Do you guys concur?
As they should. That's a great call.
100% I agree. And mind you, like you just said, the 3 of us don't even know what the hell Cornbread and Earl is. So you're going up against White Man Can't Jump. Easy knockoff.
Easy knockoff. You got dusted off by 20. Good try. You brought the family out. You got the fans out there. You traveled well. You made a whole bunch of noise, but you got knocked off by the number 1 seed. Okay.
But Jelani, I think we need to go. Instead of focusing on Cornbread and Earl, we need to focus on how amazing White Men Can't Jump was, though.
First of all, that's why we got Clips in the house, y'all, because he's not gonna let this pass without giving us our due diligence.
Hey,
and you absolutely,
give me your seat.
For me, the White Man Can't Jump, the comedy,
the scene.
I'm a West Coast guy. I love the scene of the Venice Beach, the wardrobe. The wardrobe was accurate. The soundtrack was The soundtrack was accurate. The Boys to Men, can you come out and play? This was still when the soundtrack was cracking with the visuals. So Cornbread and Earl and me, whatever, Cornbread and Earl, they didn't have a soundtrack. The basketball was accurate, even though they were playing on 8.5-foot rims.
Yeah.
Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes were believable. We also got a classic scene from the first Wooden Award winner, the first Crip in NBA history. You know what I mean? The NBA history, Marcus Johnson.
Marcus
You know what I
Jones.
mean? We also got a classic scene, Raymond. You know what I mean? For Marcus.
No, this ain't Raymond. No, this ain't Raymond.
It's a lot of
Raymond,
dudes
is that
out here
you?
crazier than me, man. Yeah.
Going to my
Got a
car, getting my gun. I'm shooting all you motherfuckers.
classic scene. You know what I mean? I can't think of a classic scene from Cornbread Earl.
No. I'm gonna
Just
bring up
lift the memory.
I'm gonna bring up two things real quick.
Run it.
One, Rosie Perez gets naked. Okay, let's be real with that. At the time,
with the Rosie Perez boob,
yes,
with the fantastic areola, the ethnic areola, which hasn't been seen in Hollywood.
Nope.
I think that was one of the first ethnic areolas that wasn't a black exploitation film, that it was exposed in a mainstream film. Continue,
Did he say
Cliff.
ethnic areola, right? Did he just say ethnic areola?
I did.
I mean, and just there's so many classic scenes in that. One of them, you know, we go in Sizzler.
Kadeem
Hardison, season ticket Clipper holder, but longtime Clipper fan, just to let you know.
Yep.
Just everything that embodied the 90s in basketball, that's what that was. And all three of us have played at Venice Beach. We know the vibe at Venice Beach.
Yeah.
And I think they were true to that. And the legend of Venice Beach, Beals, forgot his first name, but he was in the movie too, since he was the king of the court at Venice Beach. So they paid him some homage as well.
That was the loosely based off the King and Duck deal. They just gave him different names.
Ron Beals, who they do Ron Beals Day at Venice Beach every summer. He's in a wheelchair now, but he's the original king of the court there, and he was in that movie, so they could pay him homage. So, yeah,
That's dope. That is dope.
That's dope.
All of my favorite scenes obviously were all the basketball stuff.
The around the back layup, the triple around the back layups.
Yeah, of the black hooper and the white hooper, because that was the thing. I was from Oakland. You know, we had a style of play versus playing somebody out in like Concord or Pleasanton or, you know, something like that. And I liked how they played off of these two guys having these completely different styles, completely different.
Well, that's Lakers versus Celtics at the end of the day. That's Lakers versus Celtics at the end of the day, right? The white guys were supposed to be the Boston, we take good shots. The black guys were supposed to be getting up the court fast, throwing around the back passes, trying to throw lobs and all that good shit. And the white guys were making 5 passes before they shoot. You know what I mean? So it's almost a microcosm of what the NBA looked up until then. But what was the year White Man Can't Jump? 92?
So I said I was 14, so I thought it was more 94, but
94, yeah.
Oh, damn.
Okay, so that mirrored basketball of what was going on right now. We were just coming off Lakers versus Celtics, getting introduced to the bad boys and the Pistons, you know, against the Lakers. So that makes sense that, you know what I mean, what everybody was looking for. The next matchup, for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying, the people have spoken, you know what I mean, I guess, so to speak. You know, part of the reason why we're doing this for y'all is for the people, but y'all bugging on us. We got Above the Rim as an 8 seed going against, in this regional, going against Like Mike.
I mean, this is so ridiculous that we're having this conversation.
There's nothing to talk about here.
Nothing, except for the fact of how great Above the Rim is. I have a few things wrong with Above the Rim. And this is
Which one?
Wrong? There's a couple things that are wrong with Above the Rim, but it's still one of my top 5 favorite movies. You can see I have the poster right next to me over here, just to let you know.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Opening scene of Above the Rim, when Shep's playing with his brother on the rooftop and he slaps the backboard and falls off the building. You're in Harlem. Why are you playing basketball on a rooftop somewhere? Okay? You're in Harlem. There's plenty of courts in the world. I think they could have come up with a better storyline on how Shep lost his brother. Okay?
Yeah.
That's a fair assessment, because it's not too many brothers that have fell off the roof building hooping. So I mean,
I haven't seen anybody doing a jumping contest on a roof with a basketball hoop on the top.
I can confidently say there's no brothers in Harlem hooping on the roof that are putting their lives in jeopardy.
Thank you.
To dunk. But I feel like I've been in Harlem enough to
So Above the Rim to me is the reason, like, this was my first look at New York basketball, and I was in love with it. Okay,
Yeah.
the simple thing of being in Harlem. It's the reason why I went on my birthday to play at Rucker Park. It was my dream to play there because since I was a kid watching this movie, I wanted to play there. And Dwayne Martin, who's in the movie, is a real hooper. Like Dwayne Martin was a hooper. He sold it really, really well.
He did. He did a good job.
Tupac playing his normal Tupac role, Birdie,
was great.
Right? The whole thing with Bernie Mac playing the bum for bumps, like people really played that in New York. Like you played for bumps. That's what you did. I think this was same thing kind of with He Got Game, which we'll get into longer, but I think they really showed high school basketball in New York City at that time too, with the packed gyms, looked like Lincoln High School that they were playing in. It's one of my favorite movies, and I think they did a real good job, minus the whole thing with the brother falling off the building. That just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, the story picked up some embellishments. You know what I mean? They had to get it. Somebody bought that at somebody bought that shit at the studio when they're like, yeah, and he's gonna jump off the roof, and while they're playing a competition, like that goes at the studio well before you get into the inner city story about high school sports and AAU and how it's all tied together. So somebody who was like 50 or 60 at the studio was like, oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, you know what I mean? He might even added that shit for it to get passed along. You know what I think would be great? If we could have him playing one-on-one on the top of a high place in Harlem.
In Harlem. There's a court on every single corner. Yeah. So one more thing though. You want to
maybe they didn't want us getting killed. You know, that's the only thing that I could think of was like maybe they were trying to be more conscious. They felt like there would be enough deaths in the movie that they didn't want it to be like another violent death or, you know, whatever. That would be my only take. I don't know.
Yeah, because you can sell a gunfight way easier than falling off the roof playing basketball when you smack the backboard and you break the backboard. It's a little too far-fetched for me, but let's be real. The best part Above the Rim, the 94 Death Row soundtrack.
That's right.
Stop it.
I'm sorry.
Stop it. And this is when the soundtrack was different from CD to cassette. These were some of like the cassette, and you got an extra 2 songs on the cassette, you know what I mean, that you didn't on the CD because the CDs were brand new. So the Above the Rim soundtrack was plenty fire.
I got chills, bro.
The best.
Thank you.
Plenty fire. Like definitely one of the top 5 to 10 like soundtracks. You know, I put that up there with Menace to Society. All like
Boys in the Hood.
Yeah, Boys in the Hood. There's just certain soundtracks that you remember. Like, damn, it went right with the movie, right with the vibe.
We need to get back to that. We need to get back to that.
You know,
that's when Regulators came out. Regulators was on that.
Yes.
And the Tupac, and I could rap it for you right now, but you know what happens when you put people on the. But just the intro to that movie, Pac song, it's still
the pain, which you can only
the pain.
The pain, which you can only get on the tape, or you can either get it on the tape or the CD. You can't get pain on both. The pain is like a limited edition, like remastered.
Afro Puffs was on there. Lady of Rain. I better stop playing with me. There was some hits on there.
It was.
H-Town was on there.
Oh, they were in the club scene. In the club scene. For real. That's for real.
Yeah, it was just like, yo, they had the vibes completely, just down, all the way down. Actually, I'm trying to look it up now. Pour Out a Little Liquor.
Pour Out a Little Liquor. Yeah, it's Tupac again, right? Yeah.
Tupac again. I was like, I forgot about that song. I knew he was on there. The Dog Pound was on there. Man.
DPG. That was such an amazing soundtrack, dude. And again, these are soundtracks that you can play to this day and still vibe out. When most of Tupac's music is like that. A lot of these people don't stand the test of time, right? Yep. Pac does. You know, Little Durk and Future and all that shit's gonna run out at some point. You feel me?
They can't hold a soundtrack. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to hear a song that they're featured in a soundtrack, or they're not gonna. Their whole roster or stable. We don't have any more Death Rows or Bad Boys. We got TDE. We got a couple little collectives, but we don't.
Quality Control got
we got a couple. We got a couple little small collectives, but we don't have what we used to have back in the day. Moving on, the next region. 5 versus 12. These are in no chronological order of rhyme or reason, people. We're just going through our virtual regions, giving you the results that you voted on and try to add some type of perspective from a different lens to some of these things. Now we got the 5 and 12 seed, Love and Basketball versus The Air Up There.
Love and Basketball. There's
All
nothing
day.
to talk about.
You guys,
What is there to talk about?
well, you guys both said something earlier that I want you guys to touch on this.
Yeah, please.
But before we pressed record, we had a quick dialogue regarding
Okay.
Up There. Now, mind you, I remember the movie. Yeah, it was entertaining. It was basketball, so I liked it. I actually knew somebody in that movie. But
We did.
but sorry, I got there we go. You said that movie was quite racist, and I want to know why you said that.
Oh, it felt that way. So in meaning that, like, the white dude goes to Africa, gets some shoes, some water, some, like, it was just like,
Takes part in a traditional dance or some
oh,
shit.
gosh.
Then he dragging the homeboy over. Then I didn't feel like I got enough basketball while he was in America to seal the movie up for me, right? The Air Up There was a lot about, they played the little village game where it was part soccer, plus basketball. He didn't have any effing shoes, you know what I mean? All that shit, that was going on. I kept thinking Kevin Bacon wanted to dance or hit me with some footloose shit, you know what I mean? I know people think he can move a little bit because he was a dancer and he's got all that traditional shit. And I love Kevin Bacon. He's one of my favorite actors of all time. But the Love and Basketball thing, the only thing was good about the Love and Basketball thing that I'll give you guys was the recruitment process, how he was putting himself on the line for this kid from Africa, right? But at the same time, he still went to Africa. They did some little weird 90s shit. It's not really.
But wasn't that, do you think that's loosely based? Like, how the hell did they find Akeem? Like, they had to find Akeem in Africa.
They said they threw Dream of basketball and he kicked it.
I believe that. But you got to go.
First time, yeah.
You got to go to Africa to find these gems. And the NBA, now mind you, this movie was 25 years ago, and now 25 years later, the NBA now is fully staked in Africa, starting leagues. So maybe it was a little before the time. I get what you're saying. Like, they didn't need to have the tall black guy with the paint on and no shoes playing in dirt.
You know what it was, Clips? I was a younger man at the time that this movie came out. You dig? I wasn't a father of two and all that good shit. You know what I mean? Right? I was a younger man thinking of, like, why you gotta have, the African paint on? Like, we can't have a better story than this. Love. The Air There just wasn't my jam.
Okay.
Now,
Love and Basketball. Very believable. Very believable.
I had a friend in that, Charles O'Bannon. You know what I mean?
Sure
Charles
did.
O'Bannon was in Love and Basketball.
Shout out to
Parts at UCLA, parts at USA, COB. You know what I mean? Shout out to COB, UCLA basketball. The basketball was believable. Omar, what's the name?
Omar Epps.
Omar Epps did enough. He did enough. You know what I mean? He did enough to get it to get it by. Just being a hooper, some of the moves and things he didn't make it, like, I didn't buy. But the overall project.
I got something for you that you didn't know.
Run it.
Guess who trained Omar Epps and Sanaa Lathan on their hoop game?
Who?
Coach Spence.
Well, there you go. And I love Coach Spence.
Hey, Coach Spence was in the movie. He held Sanaa Lathan's knee when she was rehabbing.
That's right. And what's funny, and it's going to come up later on one of these matchups, they actually offered a lot of us as a UCLA team a position in one of these movies that's going to come in one of the regionals that we speak to. I don't want to ruin it, but at the time, since you're filming it at UCLA, and I think, these are Crenshaw. What was the high schools? Crenshaw and Inglewood? Or were they both at the Shaw? They were both at the Shaw.
Definitely Crenshaw.
There's both at the Shaw, girls team and men's teams?
Yeah, I thought it was just Crenshaw.
Yeah. The girls teams and the men's teams at the Shaw, you know what I mean? So I got a personal stake in Love and Basketball. Plus, it was just a better overall movie that had a soundtrack.
Yes, I love one.
Love and Basketball had a soundtrack. the air up there, just as much as I love Kevin Bacon, I'm a Kevin Bacon guy. I really do the Kevin Bacon. He got to take a seat on this one and take his ass back to the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Because I got to move.
I got two things on Love and Basketball. One, it was really well written. It was a true love story, right? It was a love story, a growing love story. The one thing that they have in common is basketball. You know what I mean? It's two people that were extremely passionate about a sport, and then they found love within the basketball game. Really well written, great story. The best part of the movie is finally, in my lifetime, the Los Angeles Clippers got represented because his pops was playing for the Clippers at the time. I was happy with that. I was all for it.
Wait, what?
Hey, don't be trying to use this as a little window where you can slip in some.
You know where you're at, son. You know.
You see what it is over here, Clips. You know what I mean? That's cute in all the Clippers. I'm glad that it floated your boat, so to speak. But you know what I mean? Ray, what you got? Please break this up because me and Clips are going.
I'm over here looking at the Love and Basketball soundtrack because I remember I want to say that was a Lovers soundtrack.
It was.
Yeah.
Who's on it, right? Who's on it?
It wasn't Above the Rim.
Yeah,
this was more of a Waiting to Exhale soundtrack.
When you're on a date, you about to go to the movies, on the way there, you play Love and Basketball. You know what I mean? I do remember that. I'm trying to get y'all some details.
Please do. I want to know.
I remember the soundtrack, but I can't. I'm like, why I can't remember the name?
The Love and Basketball soundtrack was similar to Waiting to Exhale. You had a couple upbeat joints, but then you had some.
You know what their hook was? And of course, shout out to the Yay area. Lucy Pearl, baby.
Ooh.
Which one? For Love and Basketball? Hey, that was a fire album.
That's what I say. It was the Lover soundtrack. That's what it was.
Raphael Sadiq, every day of the week. He's a big basketball fan, so I'm rolling with that. Which is another reason why the air up there ain't got no air up there.
No, I'm with that.
If you don't have a soundtrack, it's hard. You know what I mean? Did you really?
It's hard to just be leaning on Kevin Bacon and the tall African homie that hasn't been made a movie since.
That's very true.
Very true.
The next in our regional, so to speak, is the number 4 seed versus the number 13. And take it how you like it. We threw these seeds together. They seemed to vote on them and gave us a response. But the 4 seed Hoop Dream is against Coach Carter. And y'all.
Tell him, Jelani. Tell him what happened.
These people got Coach Carter moving.
Yeah, okay. This is where I don't understand who's voting, okay? Are you just pressing buttons on the vote? Or you just want to participate? Or do you really care about this?
Have you seen it? Do you care?
That's why I'm writing a couple of these off just based on stupidity, and I don't mean to call our followers or our listeners.
No.
I'm trying to call you stupid, but it's like saying,
it's lazy. It's lazy. This is how certain people got into certain offices, and they're leading us into certain shit because people got lazy off some baseline information. It's either recency bias or they didn't want to do some back of the envelope. And this is how we ended up with Coach Carter's beating Hoop Dream.
It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Okay, let me tell you. Let me let you guys into something. Okay, this is Slic talk. So I'm gonna give y'all some game.
Yeah, help me.
Real talk in real life. No cap. Coach Carter was literally about my team. They beat us. That whole scenario that we found out that they had been locked out of the gym because whatever the whole play. Coach Carter is one of my personal friends. He asked me to be in the movie because of it. I couldn't because I was still playing. I was with the Globetrotters at the time. But that movie was based upon them beating our team because I hadn't lost in conference in 3.5 years. So
fun fact.
Yeah. So when they beat us, that ran through the base. So then everybody, you know what I'm saying? Once they beat us and had this
you lost to some people who couldn't get in the damn gym?
You know what I mean? They couldn't get in the gym. My boy, shout out to my boy Ant. He's a firefighter now. He was that game got him a scholarship to St. Mary's probably. So I mean, it definitely was a big deal, but it was definitely all cap because I mean, I came back and I had to give them a 35, and our coach left us in because in high school I played half the game. There were very few games that I ever played a full.
Really? I'm not doing that. Yeah, I'm playing the whole jammy. You ain't gonna practice me. You got me doing all the two-foot jump shots and play me 20
hold the ball on us before the shot clock. I mean, like Lonnie, you remember that when there was no shot clock. You know, if you playing in league, they just holding the ball against you.
That shit was so lame and uncalled for. Unimaginative, doing wrong for the babies. That's not how you learn and get to a high level. Holding the four in the corners trying to win 17 to 16. That shit is lame. Yep. So, I feel you on the Coach Carter. They got Coach Carter moving forward, but hoop dreams. We talked about this before, like Clip said. We had a little.
That's crazy.
He got it on his. Hoop Dreams was the raw documentary, Last Dance before Last Dance, out of the horse's mouth, the actual person able to be able to control their dialogue and wanted to work with. Hoop Dreams was kind of depressing for me. I think me and Clips talked about that before this.
That's
that shit was kind of depressing for me. You know what I mean? I couldn't relate to. What were they? Both from Chicago?
Both from Chicago, for sure.
Chicago, but Hoopers, they got it. You know, we've had some conversations with Patrick Beverly, Ricky Davis, Antoine Walker. I played with a lot of people from Chicago, and just there's no sense of joy in Chicago basketball playing. Right? It's almost out of a necessity and out of a different grind. Like Coach Carter was a little bit more, it was a West Coast based thing. I got a little bit more of a sense of joy to what he was doing. The educational component.
Yeah.
You know, basically Hoop Dreams was about not having your shit together and showing you how it could go wrong. Like Coach Carter was like trying to, like as Bray said, trying to get people into college, get you passing your test and whatnot. But I can't say that wasn't a bad thing to show. Clips, what's your thoughts on it too?
Well, first of all, we're talking about movies. This is a 6-year documentary. Like this took 6 years to make, right? And it was so perfect because both of these guys were really great in high school. Just the whole thing of like Arthur Agee, they don't have electricity. They're using candles in their house because they're that poor. Dad is in the house, then he's out of the house selling crack. You know, while they're playing basketball, he's doing crack in the corner, right? Yeah. William Gates comes from a really great family and very supportive, but everybody's poor. And they're just showing, you know, how hard it is just to survive in Chicago and then try to thrive in Chicago through basketball, right? Mm-hmm. And both of them were good. I think we both can say that they weren't great, you know? Mm-hmm. William Gates goes through really bad knee problems, right? Arthur Agee's not the greatest student, like never really liked school, but catching the bus an hour and a half to go to Isaiah Thomas's high school, because Isaiah at the time in Chicago was the GOAT, right? Yeah. And then looking 25 years later, I've had a chance to chill with Arthur. He's a great guy. But I think this is a documentary, not necessarily a movie. And I think, and Ray and myself and you discussed before, like 99% of the kids that think they're great in high school end up just like Arthur Agee and William Gates. And that's not a bad thing. You know, William Gates got a job and he was working, you know, we still follow each other today. He's got 2 great kids. His kid's great in high school. He's a good dad. Like, not everybody has to go pro. But what you were saying earlier is like, it looked like Arthur and William both, the only choices they had was, it's either I make it to the pros or I fucking sell dope. That's it. Yeah. I'm not going to go, I can't do anything else. Yeah. Right?
Whereas Coach Carter showed you the other option.
Right.
It showed you the cause and effect and the different roads you can go. You know what I mean? So, I got to be honest with you guys. I didn't watch Hoop Dreams a lot because it was depressing, but neither did I watch. I think I've seen Coach Carter maybe 2 or 3 times. If it comes on, it's not something I'm going to stop and watch. I love Samuel L. Jackson and some of the actors in it. The basketball was okay.
And Coach Carter?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, go ahead.
Was it not? I mean, I don't remember the basketball being that much on point. Hoop Dreams, the basketball was on point.
Yeah, it was a Disney film also. So, you know, you have to understand that, like, you know, they were trying to produce a whole different thing for kind of a different generation. So I don't think they were like super duper concerned about the hoop, because even when I went to do those scenes, like the other people around, it was like it was almost like I don't need to be here because I'll mess this up. You know what I mean? You guys have these guys here and let them,
And at the end of the day, guys, Hoop Dreams won awards. So for all the people that are like saying Coach Carter, like Hoop Dreams won legit awards for the movie and for everything. So it's an easy call for me. And culturally, like Coach Carter's cool, but Hoop Dreams can live on forever. Like it's a really good. It shows you the time in the early '90s that we all remember, and it embodies it very, very well. So
I'll go as far as to saying if we don't have Hoop Dreams, we don't have The Last Dance. If every movie has to be Coach Carter and all the sob stories and not the first person perspective, people talking about, their narrative and how they want to. I don't think we have The Last Dance. I don't think we have Ron Artest's documentary. I don't think we have Stephon Marbury's. I don't think we have a lot of these quality documentaries that we have if it wasn't for Hoop Dreams. So I don't give a darn, maybe damn, what the fans think on this one.
They're wrong.
I'm gonna have to. Yeah, y'all wrong. Y'all might need a little ism on this one. I'm gonna have to move Hoop Dreams ahead of Coach Carter, but the fans pick Coach Carter.
Then the fans need to watch Hoop Dreams. That's what I'm saying. If they haven't seen it, everybody that loves basketball and loves the sport needs to watch Hoop Dreams. It's just bottom line. That's what it is.
Before you place that vote, you might need to have watched. In our next, on the other regional, so to speak, we'll call this the Eastern region. East side, we got the 6 seed Space Jam against number 11 Sunset Park. The fans.
It's time to represent. Sunset Park, what time is it? It's time to get live. Come on, guys, you don't know the song?
I remember that shit.
I remember the song, but like
I remember it, but it didn't resonate.
No, they had a little white lady as a coach.
Hey,
that worked before in Wildcats.
It didn't quite.
It's a different movie. Goldie Hawn led the little white lady as coach of Wildcats. It was a cultural classic. We're gonna do the football movies at another time, but you know what I mean.
None of these kids from the hood are listening to some little white lady about hoops. It's not happening.
Not happening, bro. That was so fugazi. It was pretty much unbelievable, and it was like they tried to put it was almost like it felt like a culture vulture made it.
It felt like Coach Carter above the rim. It felt like Coach Carter and Above the Rim mixed up, which is what Hollywood does. They take two good things, try to mix them together, tag a white lady or a person to it, you know what I mean, or whatever they feel that they need. So I'm gonna have to agree with the fans on this one. Although I didn't watch Space Jam a bunch, it had the greatest basketball player, arguably of all time, in there. I was able to take part in the dome runs on Warner Brothers lot.
The famous dome runs.
The famous dome runs as a freshman at the University of California, Los Angeles. So I know how much basketball went into those. I know there were some other pros involved.
Everybody was there.
Everybody was there. It was the place to be. So that pretty much stomped the dog-ish out of Sunset Park for me, so to speak.
I have a question for you regarding that, because everybody knows that the best summer runs are at UCLA, right?
Yeah.
So during when Michael's in town filming and he has the dome, where did the UCLA runs go to the dome or no?
Yeah.
Different worlds, but I'm sure some of the guys probably went. But
we were there twice. We did the UCLA runs, and then Mike's runs were later in the day. So we played twice. We played at UCLA, then we played at the dorm on the Warner Brothers lot. So we was getting it in, so to speak. Don't let them tell you that the UCLA boys was also cool, lackadaisical California shit. We was playing against the best players in the world, you know what I mean, at all time. Mm-hmm. That's what kind of took up more of our time and made us act arrogant. You know what I mean? We tapping up against Michael Jordan's or Penny Hardaway's in the NBA's.
Hey, Kobe Bryant's. Remember when him and Barron played each other, or Kobe and Barron played each other one-on-one at after practice or during practice, I think, because Barron's.
So Space Jam moves on.
That was really happening, and I was just.
Yeah, so sorry to cut you off. Yeah, so Space Jam moves on. Space Jam is going to be a contender. because we know people are recency bias, and we know Space Jam 2 is coming with LeBron, so they're gonna vote on that shit just based off that. So we got Space Jam. I had Space Jam in my final vote. I knew Space Jam was gonna do something, just based off people. So I'm going off people. I took people into my equation too. But,
I don't.
But yeah, I knew Space Jam was gonna do something, considering the new one is coming. But it can definitely be Sunset Park. I'm gonna give him that.
Is a new one coming though?
Yeah.
Soon.
Is that?
They're dropping the merch and the shoes and the little marketing. It's coming.
They gotta wait for the Last Dance to die down.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm like they might as well, give that a year or two.
Yeah, I'm with it.
I don't think they can. The next matchup, number 3 versus number 14, Hoosiers versus Teen Wolf.
And I want you to go on this. I can't wait to.
I want you to use your imagination, because Teen Wolf was fire. It's a cult classic. You know what I mean? It's got one of our favorite actors of all time, Michael J. Fox, leading it. But we're still talking about Jimmy Chipwood.
I get it.
Gene Hackman. You know what I mean? We got Martin. What's the Sheen and them's got?
Martin.
Yeah. No. Was that Martin? No, that was I took a driver's test with him.
What?
In Los Angeles, we had to renew our driver's license together. Short dude, he was in Apocalypse Now. He's not a Sheen.
I don't know.
He was in Nike commercials.
Yeah, I don't know that one, Lonnie.
You're gonna have to Google something. Where's Kyle at?
Kyle, can we get, you know what I mean? Slic Kyle, can you put us some information about who acted in the Hoosiers part? I should know this. I'm a movie buff.
Yeah,
hold on, let me.
Oh, taking 5?
Right. Hey, see, you can do this on video.
Yeah, you can edit it right about. Who's he taking a driver's test with? How random is that?
That is random as fuck. Like, oh yeah, I was just taking a driver's test with Goldie Hawn or something.
Which actor are we looking for?
Who was in Hoosiers? Gene Hackman and who else?
Dennis Hopper.
Did we get the name yet?
Which one? Morris Fellini?
No. He was in Apocalypse Now. He's a famous actor. He's a world-renowned actor. He's done
Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper bodied Hoosiers. Okay, the drunk coach. That's a wing dinger. I got married in that suit over there. That's a wing dinger. Remember, he was talking about his suit. Remember, Gene Hackman through the game. You know what I mean? That was a dope scene. Gene Hackman talking to the referee. Throw me out of the game. What are you talking about, coach? Just throw me out of the game. You know what I mean? He was like, I guess you got your reasons. You're out of here. You know what I mean? So that scene was dope. Dennis Hopper was amazing in that movie. The basketball was on point.
For the time frame.
For the time frame. Picket fence. Picket fence, playing against the more athletic black players. The gym, the hoop is still this high, even though we're in bigger field houses. That trumped anything that Michael J. Fox did, turning into a werewolf at the free throw line. This is dope.
I'm gonna tell you why. First of all, Hoosiers is an iconic movie. A lot of people have it as their number 1, and I'm fine with that. Okay, it's a great movie. But let me tell you, dude, Teen Wolf, mind you, I'm gonna give you some history. Let's take it way back to 1985, right?
Yes.
1985, the year of the fox. That's what I'm calling it. Okay. August 1985, Back to the Future drops.
Yes.
July of 85, Back to the Future drops. August of 85, Teen Wolf drops. Michael J. Fox has the 1 and 2 movies in the country at the time.
He's on top of the world.
On top of the world. Now, mind you, I have 2 movies that I remember from my first movies ever watching, right? I'm an 80s baby. Karate Kid, Teen Wolf, okay? So they mean way more to me than a lot of people. Secondly, because I watched it 1,000 times, the first time I've ever got to see a white boy dunk, Okay. Yes, he needed extracurricular or extraordinary talents to turn into a werewolf to be able to dunk, but he did. Okay.
But before you cut me off, let me tell you what I took from Teen Wolf. You know what I mean? And me being what I learned was the Booth against the blonde thing.
Booth.
Remember the blonde joint that he was trying to steal that he thought he wanted?
Lori Griffin is a hottie.
Right. But then it was Booth who was the real deal. She shagged for him. She was always around. She was darker hair. She had a whole different vibe going on. That I was born in 77, like 85 is where that first thing where I was trying to figure out the whole girl and boy relationship. Like that's when I figured out that I would rather have the Booth.
Oh, I wanted Lori. I wanted her. She was so bad. She was
Lori was cold, you know what I mean? But I figured out, I was like, I'd rather have the Booth.
Booth was a ride or die for sure for the homie.
Yeah.
100% ride or die. Second thing, come on, shout out to my big boned brothers. Chubby, number 55 on the squad, is a starting center at 392 pounds, okay?
Yeah.
That gave number 55, first of all. So
between him and Styles and the "What Are You Looking At, Dick Nose" T-shirt from which I later had made for myself, at some point in time for my life. That's a classic line for me. Styles with the "What Are You Looking At, Dick Nose" T-shirt with the van when he's surfing on top of the vans.
Iconic.
Classic scene. You know what I mean? The basketball. At least the basketball was intense. He needed some free.
I'm giving Michael J. Fox buckets all day long. I mean, come on. Let's be real. Look, we can sum this up really quick. It's obvious that Hoosiers is a better movie, but for me personally, nostalgic-wise, I took Teen Wolf just because it means more to me. But I'm not mad at anybody that takes Hoosiers. So that's just my little piece that I had to write down too, because
we needed to let you get that off.
Yeah, I had to get that off.
Yeah,
shout out to Chubby.
Shout out to Chubby. Shout out to Styles. Shout out to Booth. You know what I mean? Shout out to the dad that made the boy P. Shout out to Pop that made the principal P for the slacker shit. You know what I mean? Hoosier Teen Wolf was dope, but Hoosiers should move on technically, so to speak. The number 7 and the number 10 seed, we got He Got Game, and we got Cement Bro. This should be quick and brief.
He Got Game. He Got Game opened the world up to like the real inner workings of an inner city athlete when you're dealing with the chicks. And now you found out the chicks is now connected to the agent, and the agent is connected to the college. You connected to, you know what I mean? And your family, like, hey, take care of me. And then the college recruiting trips and like how those go, and you don't know where to go, and your head is spinning, and they're sending girls at you this way and money at you this way, and that He Got Game for me. Like you said with Teen Wolf, that's how He Got Game is for me, because I was a football player coming into this hoop world. I did not understand. I got good very quick. I had no clue outside of the basketball game what the hell was going on. And that was the first movie to really open my eyes. And I won't even say her name, but I had a girlfriend at the time that's still halfway legendary in these streets. But that had opened my eyes to all of that. Like,
that boy said he has had a girlfriend going on to still legendary off in these streets, Clips. I mean, goodness gracious.
Right? So I'm just saying, like, that gave me, as a young dude from Oakland, and Oakland wasn't.
Put you up on some game, when you're.
Yeah, it was like I needed that thing in real life.
Your nose be open. Your nose be open. The young ladies get to you when you're in the gym and you're just shooting, and you ain't really got no social skills like that. Everybody else got a lot of time to waste. They catch you with your nose wide open. You know what I mean? And you might not be socially adapted to some of these other dudes. So He Got Game was the jam. It was a Spike Lee joint. The basketball. Oh, but this is what I wanted to say. This is what I was alluding to earlier. He Got Game. Actually, when I was at UCLA, they sent a letter to the compliance office or to the sports office at UCLA about us being in He Got Game. So we were all offered almost the roles of like the Lincoln basketball team.
John Wallace, Walter McCarty.
Exactly. Some of those other filling roles. We got offered, you know what I mean, but our compliance kicked that back. So we didn't have a chance to be in He Got Game. You know, they literally came down to the campus and recruiting basketball players. John Wallace, Travis Best, you know what I mean? Those guys got that look. Got Walter McCarty. Those guys got that look. But
Kentucky boys.
Yeah. Hey, so two things about that.
Yeah, Kentucky, bad. Yeah.
They take care of theirs.
Yeah, they take care of theirs. Yeah.
You know, obviously we all know it's loosely based on Stephon Marbury. I mean, it's Marbury's life. It's Coney Island. It's Lincoln High School. It's all of that. So that is Marbury's story. And then the bottom line, when we're doing the comparison, it's fucking Denzel. Like, come on, Denzel's in the damn movie. So who actually can play basketball? And there's some. He was on Bill Simmons' podcast once that I listened to, and that scene where Ray and him are playing 1-on-1. You know, when Ray was told basically like. They had choreographed moves, but Denzel wasn't playing any of that. He'd been working on his game left and right, and his buckets that he got were like real buckets on Ray Allen. They tried to make it as possible.
That brings up I don't mean to cut you off, Cuz, but that brings up a memory about one of the later movies that we're going to discuss in the later Blue Chips, where Bobby Knight had a whole different way of how he wanted to shoot the game. Like, he actually told guys to like go out there and win and bust the actor's ass. So, but they caught that in like a live scene, so they actually lended to the movie. It actually made it a lot better, which is why some of these movies should be on, because they got closer to the culture and closer to people that actually move the needle forward, as opposed to some writer in a room who thinks he likes basketball or may have watched a famous player come up along. So He Got Game stops the dog-ish at a semi-pro. Semi-pro was funny.
Great. You can watch that anytime. Love Me Sexy. I mean, come on. Love Me Sexy, the greatest song ever made in a movie.
Yeah, we love Will Ferrell. You know what I mean? He's in the height of Will Ferrell's career in this window where he could do no wrong. So he got that off.
Black, bro. Come on.
Coffee Black. Andre 3000. 3000 was in there, yeah.
Semi-pro is definitely you can watch over and over.
Semi-pro feels like more of like a comedic cult classic.
Yes, agreed.
Yes. So we got He Got Game moving out of that 7 and 10. Our final regional over here in the bottom corner, east, west, north, south, you know what I mean, diagonal, however way you want to look at it, is Blue Chips. This is actually going to be interesting. I thought it was going to be a lot easier, but now that I see the two names, it's going to be interesting. Our 2 and 15, which Glory Road is the 15, but it could have easily been higher, depending on who you talk to. Blue Chips versus Glory Road. Easy. The fans, we'll start off with the fans have. The fans have Blue Chips moving on. Thank God, fans, you at least have some. Yeah, you at least have some head on your shoulders. But Blue Chips versus Glory Road, we'll start it off with Clips. Who you got moving up?
I mean, 1994. This is Shaq. This is rookie Shaq. This is rookie Penny. This is why that Shaq wanted Penny in real life with the Orlando Magic. Obviously, it was loosely based on UCLA. I mean, they had the colors. They was filmed at Pauley, right? Everything was filmed there. I think Nick Nolte played a great coach. Did really well.
No, that's actually filmed at a high school in Indiana.
No way. No way. No way. I don't believe
Blue Chips is filmed at like a high school or junior college in Indiana. Kyle, give us, Kyle let it bump. You know what I mean?
They had to shoot
I was about to say Mitch Butler was in that movie.
Butler was there.
So Mitch Butler can't get on a plane?
No, I think.
Oh, what?
No, I really think there's a lot of scenes filmed at UCLA. It's easy.
Maybe there is.
That's UCLA. Yeah, I was like, well, I know part of it is.
Maybe there is, but I know that main game that they played, that's a big deal, was it's going to be surprising for you guys. I think it was in a high school or junior college. It was not UCLA.
Okay, well, then maybe some was filmed there, but I can guarantee it was filmed at UCLA. The fact that they used so many professional and college athletes in this movie made it way more believable. The one thing I didn't like, and I can't believe that Bobby Hurley signed off on it, but Bobby Hurley played on the Indiana team. instead of
Is it the most technically advanced basketball movie out of our whole field? Does it have the best basketball?
Definitely, because they're real games, like you stated earlier. When they're in the huddle and Bobby Knight's running plays, he's really running plays, and the players are engaged. And again, we get to see just like Shaq Young, man, young Shaq. He's 20 years old in this movie, dude, and just how big and strong he was, and like that was the time everybody had been taking money, obviously, but this is when the organizations and the boosters really realized that wow, in order for us to get these top players, we got to pay them or get them something. I didn't like the fact that Penny's name was Butch McCrae. Didn't like that name. It could have been better. Like, how many homies from Chicago do you know named Butch? Like, it's just a little
That got awkward. Old boy from Indiana was dope.
Yes, for Ricky Rowe or something like that was his name.
Yeah, he actually played in Indiana at the time. He didn't play in the NBA.
Oh, interesting.
But the one kid from Indiana, he played at Indiana.
Calvert Cheney.
Nope.
Calvert Cheney was in the movie.
Yes, but the white guy on the farm.
Rex Walters. Nope. Rex Walters played in the NBA too.
No, that wasn't Rex Walters.
There was a lot.
The iron jaw white kid that they bought the tractor for.
Yeah, Ricky,
he played in Indiana. His name's going to come to me in a minute. He was a high-level Indiana Hoosiers basketball performer at the time. You know what I mean? So I can't think of his name right now, but hold on. The basketball in Glory Road was not whack.
No, it wasn't whack. I'm with you on that.
The action, whether it was the editor or whatever went on the actual basketball scene from Latimer, the different dunks and the physicalness that they were showing in the basketball. Glory Road is, to me, on the top half of these movies.
Okay.
See, a lot of these movies I like for the basketball to match up. It's cool seeing your favorite actor going there and reading lines, but at some point in time, they needed to hand it to the basketball dudes and let them do their thing. And I think between Blue Chips and Glory Road, those are two of the better movies where the basketball is accurate.
Okay.
I could agree with that.
There's an iconic scene in Blue Chips, which was unscripted, but it's where Nick Nolte, Bob Cousy was playing like the AD of that school.
Yes.
UCLA. And they're having a conversation while Bob Cousy is at the free throw line. And he's just wet the whole time. The whole conversation, Bob Cousy at 69 years old is just wetting every free throw. And at the end of the conversation, it was unscripted. Bob Cousy did a left and just nothing but net, right? And it's just little things like that. People that watch this movie today that have never seen it, they're going to be like, well, who the hell's the old guy? It's fucking Bob Cousy, like the first true point guard, which is wild. And they had so many pros, like having Bobby Knight, Mitchell Butler, Rex Walters, all these NBA guys, Calvert Cheney, who really played for Indiana, who was wet, by the way. Calvert Cheney.
Oh, he was killer. I love Calvert Cheney.
Hooper, sweetest stroke, lefty stroke. But yeah,
I didn't like him when he played against the Fab Five, though.
Why, did he bust him up or what?
I just didn't like him. I didn't care for him beating up on the Fab Five or having Indiana to do anything with the Big Ten championship when the Fab Five was around.
Hey, so I got the text from Kyle saying we got to wrap this up. So let's just break down really quick who we got next week for the second round of this, Jelani.
The second round. Good job, Clips. And this is why he's a professional, and this is why you call one half of Clips and Joe when you do things like this. For our second round, the best basketball movies of all time, it would be White Men Can't Jump versus, the fans said Like Mike, but we ain't really trying to hear that. So White Men Can't Jump will be participating against Above the Rim.
Thank you.
Okay. Love and Basketball will be participating against, did we say, are we going to roll them with Coach Carter or Hoop Dreams?
Well, whoever the fans said, which sucks, but...
Yeah, the fans said Coach Carter.
I'm totally fine with you passing on Like Mike. You make the call on that, okay?
Like Mike is a rapper. Yeah, we ain't doing that. Above the Rim is going all the way to the Final Four, if you're asking me. Yeah, so, we passed on Like Mike. We'll give the fans Coach Carter over Hoop Dreams, because that's what we do. We love the fans. We appreciate y'all chipping into this. We got Space Jam is going to be participating. participating against Hoosiers.
Okay.
Because we're not doing the Teen Wolf game, fans. We're not giving y'all that one. You know what I mean?
I don't agree with this at all, but that's okay.
Yeah. We appreciate y'all participating, but we're gonna make an executive decision on that one. Space Jam versus Hoosiers, and our final is going to be for this round is going to be He Got Game versus
Blue Chips.
Blue Chips.
There's two games right here. Above the rim, white man can't jump, and He Got Game and Blue Chips is going to be real tough, dude. Real tough.
It's going to be real tough. This has been a special edition of Slick Talk. We have had a pleasure of being graced by Clips, one half of Clips and Drew podcast. You can follow them across the podcast world, Spotify, Patreon, iTunes, wherever you want to find podcasts. He's been graciously blessed us with his presence. Clips, we appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, fellas. You guys know you're my boys, dude. We're family, dude. Slick family.
Oh, that's all day. We can do this all day about any type of bracket they want to put up. Snacks, to candies, to dunks, you know what I mean? To beers, however y'all want to do it.
Talk about next is dunks.
I'm with that.
That's next.
We definitely got to talk some dunks. We got to get you back on for dunks.
I'm with it, dude. I'm with it.
Sure. Until the next round, again, this is Slick Talk. On behalf of myself and my co-host, Ray Yizzle Young, I am Jelani McCoy. We are signing off for Quarantine Clips. Shout out to Kyle for putting together the data.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see you to the next round.
Later, fellas.
Hey, Jelani, will you just say something about the first round? Shout out to all the people that participated. We got 9,113 total votes for round one, something like that.